All right, so are you ready to dive into a question that's probably on a lot of people's minds right now?
Yeah.
Is Home Depot stock a good buy?
Yeah, that's a big one these days.
It is, and we're going to see if we can help you figure that out. We took a look at a recent article from the Motley Fool.
Oh, yeah, they're good?
Yeah, you probably know them. They've been around forever, helping people understand investing.
Yeah, pretty much since, like, the dawn of the internet.
Yeah, the early 90s, right?
93, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And they've got a huge reach. Millions of people follow their stuff.
Totally. So they're a pretty credible source.
Yeah.
But before we even get started, I have to tell you, I was blown away by this. The home improvement market
Huge.
is worth almost $1 trillion.
It's crazy.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
So Home Depot and Lowe's are like the giants in this massive market.
Yeah, they're the big players.
They really are.
And that's one of the main reasons why this article thinks that now is a prime time to buy Home Depot stock.
Okay, I'm interested.
They lay out 3 reasons why. All right, lay it on me. What's the first one?
Number one is all about the housing market
Okay.
and the recovery that everyone's expecting.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard whispers of that.
Yeah, so it all starts with the Federal Reserve.
Okay.
They've started cutting interest rates.
Right.
Which should eventually lead to lower mortgage rates as well.
Okay.
So why does that matter?
Well, I guess if it costs less to get a loan, then more people can afford to buy a house.
Exactly.
Yes.
Lower rates make it easier for people to buy homes. And then the article points out that existing home sales are way down
Oh, really?
compared to before the pandemic.
Wow.
And you add that on top of the housing shortage.
Right.
There's a lot of room for the market to bounce back.
Okay, so there's this pent-up demand. So more people buying homes, which could mean more business for Home Depot.
Exactly.
Interesting. Okay, so that's point 1.
Mm-hmm.
What about number 2?
Point number 2 is that home equity levels are at record highs.
Okay, but what does that actually mean for someone like me who's not a financial wit?
Sure. So basically, even though fewer homes are being sold right now, home prices have gone up.
Okay.
And home equity is how much of your home you actually own.
Right.
So if your home's value increases, your equity goes up too.
Got it.
This gives homeowners more financial wiggle room
Uh-huh.
to spend on things like renovations.
Oh, so they've got more cash to play with. And on top of that, the stock market's been doing pretty well lately, putting even more money in people's pockets. Some of that could end up at Home Depot, right?
Exactly.
Okay, I
Yeah.
like it. All right, what's the third reason? Why should we be bullish on Home Depot?
Reason number 3 is their competitive advantage.
Yeah.
They're really a well-oiled machine.
Okay.
Even with the recent dip in sales, their profit margins are still really healthy.
Yeah.
Better than most other retailers.
So they're built to last. Even if things get a little rocky, that's good to know. But hold on, even if all this sounds good,
Yeah.
wouldn't Home Depot's price-to-earnings ratio, which is at 27,
Uh-huh.
make you hesitate a bit? It seems a little high.
Yeah, that's a good point. The price-to-earnings ratio, or PE ratio, basically tells you how much investors are willing to pay.
Yeah.
For each dollar of a company's earnings,
Okay.
a high PE ratio could mean investors are expecting high growth. Or it could mean the stock is overvalued.
So in Home Depot's case, 27 seems high, but the article thinks their potential for growth justifies it.
Yeah, that's what they're banking on.
Okay, I can see that.
They have some solid reasons to believe in that growth. For example, they just acquired SRS distribution,
Oh, yeah, I read about that.
which is likely to boost their reach in the professional contractor market.
So they're not just focused on DIYers, they're going after the big fish, too.
Exactly.
Total smart move.
It shows they're actively looking for ways to expand and tap into new revenue streams.
I like it. Okay, so we've talked about the housing recovery, rising home equity, and Home Depot's competitive edge.
Mm.
But let's be real, there's always another side to every story, right?
Of course.
What are some things that could go wrong?
Yeah, what could throw a wrench in the gears?
Exactly. Yeah. What are some of the things that could derail this whole Home Depot train?
Well, no investment is foolproof.
Okay.
And this one really hinges on the housing market.
Okay.
It assumes that the housing market is going to recover.
Right. And
Mhm.
what if it doesn't?
Exactly.
What if
Yeah.
it's not as strong as everyone's predicting?
Right. The whole idea is based on interest rates continuing to fall,
Okay.
which should make mortgages more affordable
Right.
and lead to more people buying homes. But what if something happens and those projections don't pan out?
Like what?
I don't know. Like, what if inflation suddenly spikes again?
Oh, yeah.
The Fed might have to raise interest rates.
And that would totally change things.
Completely. Or some crazy global event
Right.
triggers another recession.
Yeah, the world's a pretty unpredictable place these days.
It really is.
Okay, so even if the housing market does recover, how do we know Home Depot will actually benefit?
Right. It's not a guarantee.
What if people decide to spend their money on something else, like travel or experiences?
Yeah, maybe people prioritize experiences over stuff.
Right, instead of fixing up their homes. Or what if DIY becomes even more popular?
That's a good point.
What if people just do it themselves?
Yeah, with all the how-to videos online these days.
Exactly.
It's easier than ever.
People might not need Home Depot as much.
Right, they could just go to the hardware store.
Or not even. Just figure it out on YouTube.
And then you have to think about competition, too.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Lowe's is a big one.
Right.
And there are other companies out there as well.
Plus all the online retailers.
Yeah, like Amazon.
They could totally shake things up.
It's a dynamic market for sure.
It really is.
So even though the Motley Fool article is pretty bullish,
yeah,
it's important to remember that no investment is a sure thing.
There's always a chance things could go south.
Absolutely. Which is why it's so important to do your own research.
Yeah, don't just take their word for it.
Exactly. Think critically about the information you're given.
From any source.
Exactly. Don't just blindly follow anyone.
Okay, so think for yourself. Consider all the angles.
Right.
Weigh the risks and the rewards.
Exactly. Investing is all about managing risk.
And understanding the downsides.
Is just as important as understanding the upsides.
It's all about balance.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've looked at both sides of the Home Depot coin now. The good and the bad. What's the bottom line for everyone listening?
I think the main thing is the Motley Fool article paints a pretty optimistic picture.
Right.
But you've always got to be a little skeptical.
Yeah, don't just take their word for it.
Right. Do your own research.
Absolutely.
You don't want to base your decisions on just one source.
Oh, yay. Spread the risk.
Exactly. Diversification is key. And remember, past performance doesn't guarantee future success.
Right. Just because Home Depot's done well before doesn't mean it'll keep doing well.
Things change all the time.
The market's always changing.
The whole economy. Consumer behavior.
Yeah. Who knows what people will be into next year?
So think of this deep dive as a starting point.
Okay.
It's one piece of the puzzle.
Got it.
Now to wrap things up, I want to leave you with something to think about.
Okay. Hit me.
We talked a lot about what could make Home Depot successful.
Mm-hmm.
But what about the bigger picture?
I like it. Thinking beyond Home Depot.
What if the housing market really takes off?
Oh, yeah.
What are the ripple effects?
That's a good question.
It would affect other parts of the economy, too.
For sure.
Think about it. More demand for building materials, furniture, appliances.
The landscapers.
Yeah, the whole 9 yards.
And what about the social side of things? Would more people be able to buy homes? Or would it just make inequality worse?
Those are some really interesting questions. Worth thinking about.
Yeah, for sure.
As you're making your investment decisions. Think about the big picture.
Absolutely. Not just the money.
It's all connected.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into Home Depot and the housing market. Hope you found it helpful.
Yeah, we had fun.
As you make your investment decisions, remember, knowledge is power.
Until next time, happy investing.